There's no scare more effective than the jump scare, so called because it's scary and it makes you jump. Pretty sure. These sudden, loud, intense scares may not have the long-term chills of psychological horror or the gleeful gore of a slasher movie, but they're certainly memorable, usually because of all the apologizing for swearing you have to do after being on the receiving end of one. And video games are the perfect medium for jump scares because you're always putting your face near things or looking through things, and frankly, either of those are asking for trouble. With that in mind, we present to you 7 of the most effective jump scares we've experienced in recent video game memory. Enjoy, and beware minor spoilers ahead for the following games, and also several jump scares, I guess. Like this! Haha, gotcha, Mike. You look scared?
Yeah, I was actually terrified.
Did that get you?
I think it got me. I think it was an effective one. Yeah, I'm feeling a little unsettled now. For the rest of the video, I'm going to be just cowering here in this corner. Is that cool?
Well, consider this. Also,
No, don't do it to me again!
Someday you will die.
No!
The tracks lead into the water. Where'd you go? I can feel something.
Alan Wake 2 is a very fine game, and it's just as well. Because Alan Wake 2's signature jump scare is a flash of loud screams and nightmare imagery designed to test your resistance to terror-based heart attacks. I mean, nice try, Sam Lake. And if Alan Wake 2 hadn't been a very fine game, there's no way I could have endured split-second scares this intense and abundant.
Nobody lived here anymore. Was I too late?
I mean, I'm fine.
Scratch had been here.
These jump scares, or horror flashes as Alan Wake 2 calls them, did such a number on players of a less steely disposition that earlier this year the game received a patch that included a, quote, much requested option to tune down the horror flashes, unquote, with which you could reduce the audio and visual intensity from this to this. Oh, sure. Now this is my new sleep podcast. In any case, it would take more than that to dull this particularly razor-sharp jump scare in the Valhalla nursing home, where you chance upon harmless old lady Cynthia Weaver in a reasonably calm and safe moment between harrowing struggles to survive.
This will put a smile back on your face, my dear.
Sorry?
Jeez! That's what I get for visiting the elderly. But hey, with there being so many of this kind of scare, surely at some point we'll get used to them, hey Saga?
Oh, come on.
That's a no.
Welcome to the hotel that puts you first. A place to let go and immerse yourself into luxury.
In its never-ending search for new groups of unsuspecting dumbasses to ghost murder, the Dark Pictures anthology The Devil in Me turned its sights on a film crew making a documentary series about famous murderers. See if you can guess what happens to them. In the course of producing their episode about H.H. Holmes, a hotel owner widely considered to be America's first serial killer, the crew moves into an exact replica of his famous murder hotel, which, unlike the famous murder hotel, is on a remote island in Lake Michigan, where they are now stranded. So already off to a bad start. What's worse is that while the house is a replica of Holmes's famous Chicago castle, it also has a host of new additions in honor of Holmes's, works. Like, for example, this display of a bowler hat, presumably similar to the one that Holmes used to wear. Approach it for a close look, however, and you're in for a brutal jump scaring as a full-body animatronic of Holmes launches itself out of the display like a knife-wielding jack-in-the-box. Ah, what the hell? I came to this murder hotel replica in good faith, sir. As if that wasn't enough, it goes off again seconds later, just when you think it's all jump scared out. Alright, that's it. The next documentary series is about famous ice cream makers.
Looks like I'm getting out of this place.
The Resident Evil series has always been the master of jump scares, from the window dogs in the original, to sudden sewer corpses in Resident Evil 7. And the most recent Resident Evil game, Resident Evil Village, is no exception, hitting you with a barrage of jump scares that range from monster attacks to an old man grabbing you gently by the arm.
What's going on?
Still pretty scary. However, our favourite, I guess, has to be the one you encounter when exploring the village, in a workshop after you exit Castle Dimitrescu. In this workshop, you find a combination lock in need of a combination. Searching for the numbers, you head to a shed nearby where you find a spooky photograph with the words "Look out the window" written on the back. Now, normally we wouldn't do anything a spooky photograph told us to, but this is Resident Evil, and so off we trot to the window, where it does indeed seem like the numbers we seek are dotted around the landscape, only visible from this perspective. And that's when a beast-like lichen pops up from behind the window, which is somehow scarier than the previous 3 hours of vampire horror combined. As scary as this jump scare is, it's also quite confusing. Who wrote the note? Surely not the feral lichen. I can't see him holding a pen. So someone else? And they didn't know the lichen would be there? Or they did, and he's been waiting in a bush somewhere nearby for the past week, hoping for just this opportunity. Honestly, the world building is incredible.
Your face looks familiar. Reminds me of the last time I lifted my horse's tail.
Why did you say that?
An unexpected source for our next jump scare because it's not from a horror game, but it is still a moment that made us involuntarily frisbee our controllers across the room in terror. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
I think it stopped bleeding.
Too badly. The game is Red Dead Redemption 2, and the scare in question takes place way out in the far western reaches of the map, wild, lawless country where every high-speed horse crash leads to a deadly gunfight.
Any regrets?
That's the Old West equivalent of swapping insurance details. In fact, the sole bit of civilization you'll see around here is this lone cabin, perched up on a hillbank overlooking the road. Consumed as you probably are with a pioneering spirit and an unquenchable curiosity and a fervent desire to steal absolutely anything that isn't nailed down, you may be tempted to head inside this cabin and scope out its whole deal. And if you do, this is what happens. That's right, this house belongs to a bear, and he's not too happy about your housebreaking, rewarding your unwanted incursion with a jump scare and a brutal mauling to boot. And to face, body, the whole zone. If you thought that was bad, be thankful you didn't do it in first person is all I'll say. I had to get this footage. Still, I learned a new word. Arkudophobia means fear of bears, which I have now.
Damn. I don't think we can get up to the cabin with a path block like this.
Oh, no way am I going back to the lodge, aka Wax Museum, to drink hot chocolate with Emily.
Jess!
Look, I've got nothing against telescopes. If you want to see something that's far away without having to walk all the way over there, telescopes got you covered. Where I dislike telescopes, however, is in horror games because they require you to put your face right up close to something, and that is when you are most at risk of being jump scared senseless by some toothy horror. This is exactly the situation you find yourself faced with in Supermassive Games' Until Dawn, when the characters Jess and Mike, having just escaped a spooky mine, come across a telescope set into the landscape to enjoy the views.
Ooh, a telescope!
Jess is naturally delighted and sprints to the telescope so she can look at the trees, the clouds, and the cabin they're staying in.
Whoa.
You alright?
I just saw someone at the cabin.
Now, instead of maybe lighting a distress flare and waiting for helicopter evac off this haunted-ass mountain, Mike instead chooses to go and look through the telescope himself to see if he too can see this mysterious figure.
Okay. Let me see.
The answer to which is yes, right up against the lens. Bam! Get jump scared, player. Not Mike though, who seems surprisingly calm about the entire situation.
Sampling the old eggnog again, babe? It's just us up here.
Probably, he read a walkthrough and knows that he can't die until at least chapter 10. Smart.
Hypocrites! Every last one of you!
I'm sorry, Kirk, but this is the right place for you.
I only wanted to help people, and I've killed the one thing I ever loved.
Gotham City is a pretty scary place at the best of times, what with the roaming gangs of thugs and the maniacal supervillains and the jet-powered rocket cars blasting through intersections without slowing down. But none of these scares are as in-your-face as the one delivered by Chiropteran supervillain Man-Bat in Batman Arkham Knight, who first greets you by screaming in your face on a rooftop while you're just gliding around minding your own business. For those unfamiliar with Man-Bat, he is the alter ego of Dr. Kirk Langstrom, a scientist who, with the typical restraint and scientific rigor of a Batman character, attempted to cure his deafness by splicing his DNA with that of a vampire bat.
So, what we've done is merged the DNA of Desmodus rotundus, the vampire bat, into the human chain.
Amazingly, this didn't give him the super hearing of a vampire bat, but rather turned him into a bat-like man, who then went on a rampage of violence around the city. What? It's different when Batman does it. Eventually, Batman is able to find and cure Man-Bat before locking him up in the GCPD headquarters for 1 count of murder, 1 count of being a bat, and you have to assume several counts of gimmick infringement.
What have I done?
However, once you've captured Man-Bat, if you find yourself playing on October the 31st, you might notice he's not as captured as you initially thought, when you grapple to the roof of a building and are greeted with an unexpected repeat of this most bowel-emptying jump scare. Batman, of course, no-sells this terrifying bat monster screaming in his face, but you better believe we comported ourselves with nowhere near this level of self-composure. So many things contribute to how effective this jump scare is. The fact that you think Langstrom is locked up and therefore not a threat, the fact that it only happens on Halloween, the spookiest night of the year, and, oh yeah, the fact that it's a terrifying bat monster screaming in your face. I think that's the most effective bit of all.
Whoa, wait, I just live here!
Probably anti-citizen. Keep those hands up!
Wait, don't shoot!
Dare you see if you were in the
Anyone who has been to Ravenholm will tell you that the Half-Life series is already plenty scary, thank you very much. And that's why we don't go to Ravenholm. With 2020's Half-Life Alyx, however, Half-Life made the jump to virtual reality. Virtual reality had the effect of making the game much more immersive, but also much, much scarier, because all the awful stuff was happening to you in what your brain was telling you was real life. As such, stuff that you'd maybe brush off in regular Half-Life becomes a jump scare in Half-Life Alyx just by virtue of it catching you by surprise in VR. So when things happen that are supposed to be jump scares, they hit 100 times harder. Like, for example, enemies attacking you by surprise.
Head cramp! A head cramp's on your face! Get it off your face, Alex! Oh, it's really on there!
Or our personal unfavourite, this headcrab zombie earnestly attempting to headbutt its way through a window so it can murder you. Man, I am done with VR. If anyone needs me, I will be in Ravenholm.
Hey, thanks for watching this video about terrifying jump scares. We won't do any more jump scares in the video now. They're over. But if you want to watch another video, maybe check out this one. Or down here is something from Outside Extra. And now, peaceful music to play us out. No more jump scares. No, I'm not going to do it.